Oh, welcome to the Crazy Trade Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have some news today about two particular guys, two different leagues. We want to talk about college football, and then we have to talk about the NBA. And in the NBA, a lot of you guys know what's going on with Giannis, all this hypothetical stuff. But we're going to start with college football, Lane Kiffin. Of course, we got to start with him because he is the man of the show right now. Lane Kiffin just dropped a bomb, and he's decided to leave Ole Miss and go to LSU. And of all people, who is more surprised than this is probably Lane Kiffin, because he knows and he's said it in the past that the NCAA has not changed the rules of the NIL, and he said it. He said that they need to put a cap on it. They didn't take advantage of it. And guess where he's going? He's going where the money's at. He's going to LSU. He's going to get paid. Uh, he's going to get at least $91 million. And his buyout is 72.8. So if it goes all haywire, he'll still get paid, which I think this is what's really wrong with sports coaching in itself. It gives the coaches a scapegoat. It gives a lot of times just doesn't feel right as a fan. Anywhere that you work as a regular employee, that's not a salary, but you work at a supermarket, you work at a warehouse and all that, they don't pay you out. Again, you're talking about GM and Ford back in the 70s, 80s when they were being bought out by European and other factories in the South America. You know, the unions were just flying out of that situation. They would get buyouts. But most people that get regular pay do not get buyout. And this is what's really wrong with coaching. And coaches should not uh, be rewarded for jumping ship and going somewhere else and starting somewhere new, and then taking everyone with them. And that is a situation that you're going to have to kind of realize that sports have been doing this for the last 15, 20 years. I mean, everyone knows about Urban Meyer from going to Utah and then going to Ohio State and then getting kicked out of Ohio State. And then Jim Harbaugh at those allegations about him cheating or buying hamburgers with cheese on it for his recruits. Garbage, right? This is becoming more of a garbage situation for Ole Miss, LSU, and the SEC. They're dumping money. They got rid of Brian Kelly, and they paid him $54 million just to go. And now they paying Lane Kiffin, who's been kind of rocking the boat back and forth and giving whole suspense to the whole world about where's he going to go. Of course he's going to go where the money is at, because there's no punishment for coaches and there's no punishment for this NIL segment. But here's what I don't understand. You're going to give this guy $25 million every year for his NIL. But here's the thing, though. You don't need a running back and a quarterback every year. You don't need a wide receivers every year. You may get rid of one because one's going to graduate, or one's going to go to the draft, or one's just not good enough. But out of that $25 million, you're going to have like 5, 6 guys on your team in the wide receiver, 2 or 3 guys in the running back, and then you're going to get 2 quarterbacks, starter and a backup. But then what does that say about the other players who are trying to get recruited to LSU? They don't want to be backup running backs and quarterbacks and wide receivers. They're going to go somewhere else. They're going to go where they can at least play. That's the way I would look at it. As a player, if I was a player, I wouldn't want to go to LSU unless I knew that the starting quarterback and the backup quarterback are leaving or the backup quarterback is a senior, and then I have to fight for uh, the second and third spot, right? So in college, you're going to have not just a backup quarterback and running back, you're going to have multiple backup quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. There's going to be at least 5 or 6 at each position of the wide receivers, quarterbacks, and running backs that are trying to make the team and make the spot. I don't even know what the roster is for college football. I know that in the NFL it's 53-man roster, but if I was a college kid, I wouldn't even want to go to a team where they're going to have to throw the ball to everybody because everyone's getting paid. 5 million for a wide receiver, 5 million for another wide receiver, 3 million for a tight end, uh, 7 million for a running back, and 12 million for the quarterback at LSU. I'm just putting numbers out there. It doesn't matter if my numbers are right or wrong. I'm just making the scenario of what it's going on here. And tell you the truth, the real issue that you're going to have with college sports is that no one's going to pay attention to it any longer if certain teams win it every other year. So let's say all these teams, Ohio State, LSU, Notre Dame, um, I'm not even going to put Michigan in there because I don't think Michigan's got a chance in the way that their coaching staff is there, unless they change something dramatically. But if you take LSU, Notre Dame, Ohio State, you take those 3 teams, and those 3 teams do exactly what LSU did and give all these coaches, Notre Dame and Ohio State, $25 million every year to NIL. And then that means those 3 teams would recycle the national championship every 3 years. So that turns into kind of a monopoly of college football, and that's not really fun to watch, and that's not even really fun to care about. If I'm a guy that's from somewhere in the South, and I have let's say I'm a Florida State fan, Georgia fan, or let's say I'm those 3 teams, or I have fans down there, and let's say Georgia, Alabama, and Florida State don't have the money or don't want to give the money to these NIL players, then that means the coaches aren't going to stay. And then that means your team's going to lose every year. And maybe that's the issue, is that now we're getting to a point where you're going to pay all these players that much money to win. And now they don't have to play in the NFL no more because they'll get 5 million every year. I don't even know how that works. Okay. So that is the biggest issue about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is not the problem. Him going to one team to another team is not his issue. His issue is that the NCAA doesn't want to change the rules. So he's just going to do what he wants to do and make money and put his money away, put it into the stocks, invest it, and then keep moving on until someone else pays him more. I mean, he's just doing what the rules of the NCAA rules are doing. If they change it, he'll stay with a team. If they put a cap on NIL that's like $5 million for college football, and that's it, he'll stay to make a team, to make a national championship. But the dynasty era is over. You're never going to have a team that will be dominant anymore. You're never going to have Alabama win 5 national championships in 8 years. You're never going to have Michigan win 4 national championships in 12 years. And I'm saying that because Michigan, they're great with the offense, defense, line guys. Quarterbacks come and go. They're not really the team to even talk about that. And I'm a Michigan fan. I'm just be honest about that. But Ohio State, you're not going to win any more national championships because if all these other teams are able to make $25 million NIL, and that means all these other teams, like there'll be 5 teams for sure: LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and I'm gonna put Notre Dame. So all those 5 teams are gonna win national championships in 5 years, and they're all gonna rotate. They're all gonna rotate. And you know what that rotation means? It means it's gonna be boring for fans who are not any way, shape, or form care about any of those schools. The NFL and the college football are totally different. Whereas I can be a Detroit Lion fan and I can go and my second favorite team could be the Buffalo Bills. But say Detroit doesn't make the playoffs this year. So then that means I'm going to want the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl because we're both kind of essentially the same type of teams. We have never won a Super Bowl. We have great players on the team: Josh Allen, Jamal Gibbs, those type of guys. And it's easy to be a fan of multiple different teams in the NFL, where in the NCAA football or basketball, you're not going to be a Michigan State fan if you're a Michigan fan. You're sure hell's not going to be an Ohio State fan over Michigan fan. There's no way. So that's not going to work out for the fan base. So you're only going to get 5 teams that are going to win a national championship. Those 5 teams: LSU, Ohio State, Alabama will probably pay for it. Notre Dame will probably pay for it, and I forget the 4th one. In Georgia. Those 5 teams, because that's the primary spot for players to go get drafted. Okay. All you Michigan fans say, well, how about us? Well, we don't create running backs. We don't really create quarterbacks. We maybe have Jim Harbaugh and Tom Brady, but in reality, we don't produce guys. We produce tight ends, maybe offense and defense line guys. That's what we do. So that's my beef with the NCAA. Lane Kiffin. I don't think this is not Lane Kiffin's fault. He's just doing what the rules are being told. So I am going to talk about this other situation, and I'm going to go to. How do I do this? This guy, the NBA Giannis, and Giannis is a brilliant actor. I think he's getting notes from our buddy LeBron James. He's acting. He wants to leave. He wants to leave the Milwaukee Bucks. His team is horrible. He's basically signed a new 3-year deal with the Bucks, $175 million, and then obviously the optional is the 27-28 season of $62 million. But his team is horrible. So he wants to move. He wants to get out. He wants to go somewhere else. He wants to go to the New York Knicks. Okay? He wants to go. But that's the same guy who gave LeBron James crap. He gave LeBron James crap and said, by going to different teams and creating super teams is not a team player. So he's not a team player no more, Giannis. He's a selfish guy. You have bad years and you have multiple bad years, and then you create a new team, and then you go have a new year, good new season. 5 years down the road, maybe you'll be too old. But Giannis, I saw the game, Detroit Pistons, Milwaukee Bucks. He made his comeback, and then within 3 minutes of the game, after one of the team scores, I think it was the Bucks, he was running down the court, not even down the court, he's by the basketball hoop, and he goes down, and he directly points at his ankle, and then sits there and then grabs his knee. And then he's pointing to the trainers to come and grab him. And then he sits there, and then he finally gets up. And then the greatest thing about this man is the idea that he gets up, he's goes to the locker room, and it turns out to be a calf injury. A calf injury. Brilliant, right? So the real question is this: where is he going to go? And this is I'm not going to talk about all the teams he's going to go. The first team that they said he might go is to New York Knicks. Now you remember Bronson. Bronson might be hurt still, or for whatever reason. I think he got hurt in the early part of the year, and he's out for the rest of the year. But if you put Giannis with the Knicks would get Kyle Kuzma and Cole Anthony and Giannis. The Bucks would get Karl Anthony Towns, Jonathan Kuminga, and Buddy, whatever his last name is. But here's the thing. Why would you do that? I mean, why would you do that? I mean, I wouldn't look. I just don't. I don't think that the Knicks need him. I think with Karl Anthony Towns, I think he's good enough. I think with Bronson being injured and out, I just think that it would probably make more sense to hold on. The chemistry of the team is more important than bringing a guy in who's going to want the ball 95% of the time. And then you got Bronson that needs to handle the ball and shoot it. But if it's just a 1-2 punch, who's going to be your third guy on that team for the Knicks? I don't know. I don't watch the Knicks enough. But you tell me, Knicks fans, who's the third or fourth guy, right? Okay. The Bucks would get Austin Reeves. This is something I saw. I don't know why Austin Reeves is on here. Raul Hutchinmua, Max Kleber, Gabe Vincent, and Dalton Connect. I don't think it's going to be possible. Too many players. You wouldn't give up Austin Reeves for the first place. You got Davic, you got Austin Reeves playing like a beast, and then I don't even know what LeBron James is doing, but it makes sense if you got rid of LeBron James and then you got Giannis. If you just paid LeBron James to leave the Lakers completely, that would be probably the smartest thing that the Lakers could do is just get rid of LeBron James, pay him out, and then get Giannis. But the Bucks are not going to get Austin Reeves. They're probably going to have to give up draft picks. Now, this is going to be the most interesting thing I saw on the internet, on the net. I don't even know where I found this. The Detroit Pistons alone would get Giannis, but the Bucks would receive Oscar Thompson, Jaden Ivey, and Tobias Harris, along with Detroit draft picks. First round, 26, 28, 30, and 32. So the first round draft picks of the years 2026, 2028, 2030, and 32. That's ridiculous. And I'll tell you why. Because Detroit Pistons has never been a team about big time players. The closest that we ever got to that is Kobe Bryant. Okay. But even that didn't fall through. So that's not even a question. So this is what I would say. If Detroit, if this made sense, you probably would give up a second and third, along with the first round draft picks, and then second and third. And then in reality, Jaden Ivey, he might be back for Detroit, but Detroit's got a lot of guys. They got Ronald Holland. They've got uh um God, man, I can't remember his name. Giannis. Oh, well, that there's my screw up right there. Uh, Here, let me check this. Oh, so if Detroit, if Detroit actually got, it would be Dennis Jenkins. Thank the Lord, I remember his name. So it would be Dennis Jenkins. If Detroit got rid of Jaden Ivey, Detroit still would have Jenkins, Ronald Holland, and Sasser. Sasser is in the G League. But if we got rid of Jaden Ivey, Sasser would come back on that team. But I mean, Detroit's giving up Jaden Ivey way too early. Is his first year coming back from an injury. He looks all right, but his conditioning is way bad right now. But he's got to be on the court a lot more for that to work. So there you go. If I would, I would, I would not take the trade if I was Detroit. That's for sure. There's no way I would take this trade. Detroit's just not that team that picks up big contracts and big time players. Detroit's about the working man class, the grit, like Detroit Lions. That's always been the case. And remember, Detroit has won NBA Finals with Isaiah Thomas, Bear Lambier, Dennis Rodman, John Sally, the Bad Boys. Detroit's won it with Ben Wallace, Chauncey, Hamilton, and those type of guys. So Detroit has never needed an A level player. Detroit's just a team effort environment. Anyways, I think if Giannis came to Detroit with Kay Cunningham, it'd be a lot of 1-2 punch and a lot of players standing around watching those two play basketball, which would make Detroit a lot weaker team in the long run. And then instead of winning multiple championships, they would only win one championship. Detroit Pistons right now has an opportunity to win multiple championships. Maybe not in a row, not back to back and all that stuff, but they could win at least 2 championships in 5 years. I could see that with Cade Cunningham being there. There you have it. I said it. Detroit's going to win it somehow, some way. Let's pray for it. All right, folks. If you like this podcast, this episode, shout out. You can always find me wherever you download your podcast. You can always watch me on YouTube, and you can cheer at the Patreon and please subscribe and pay for the membership, whatever you want to do. Peace, love, and I'm out of here.